£5.50.
Well, come along then. Where are your manners? We stand when the teacher comes into the room. We stand when the teacher comes in to the room. I should think so, and stop talking, especially the people at the back. I can see you. Thank you so much for showing your tribute of respect. You may sit. I didn't say you could talk. Well, now we have two special guests with us this evening in our angel school, two seraphs who tell me that they are here to do some sort of Ofsted report. Would you like to stand up, gentlemen? This is Seraph Andrew and Seraph Peter. They shall be inspecting us this evening, and we hope that they will carry away a very good report. Welcome, and please take your seats. Well, now, I have your essays here that were handed in at the end of last term. Yes, you may well look anxious, Jenkins Minor. Free will and predestination, the paradox explained. Harris, B-, well done. Stanwyck, C+, quite good. Keep trying. Since Crowley, C, very average. Lewis, look at the state of your book. That is positively disgusting. I do not expect any cherub in my class to hand in a book in that state. Disgusting. Farnham, B+, well done. Cavendish, C+, it would have been a B if you hadn't made so many grammatical errors. You're hanging on to my little thing, aren't you? Yes. Glenn, D, could have done better. Jenkins, minor, E, do it again. Stevens, B, well done. Catch. Don't whimper, boy, it only caught you on the nose. It'll stop bleeding in a moment. Teach you to pay attention. And finally, Foswick, A+, very well done. There you are. This gentleman has been so good. This is the third time he's got top marks in his essay this term. Stand up and let everybody have a look at him. Give him a round of applause. He's so very good. You're going to be a very fine angel one day, a very fine angel indeed. Peterson, C-. Jenkins, Milo, will you stop talking to Glenn? Have you got anything important, say it out loud. Well, I am waiting. See me afterwards, will you? And finally, Whitechapel, a surprising B. Well done. I will have all the essays back in at the end of this lesson. Well, what can I say? Apart from one or two exceptions, surprisingly pathetic effort. Does this class wish to remain cherubs forever? Don't you wish to attain the giddy heights of angelhood? Well, if you do, you're going to have to knuckle down and make some improvements. Well now, without further ado, let us embark on the engagement of enlightenment. You boy.
Please, sir.
Yes, you boy, stand up. Oh, you must be the new cherub.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Well, do you have a name, cherub?
Yes, sir. Dennis, sir.
Dennis. Oh, good. Well, do you have any questions, Dennis?
No, sir.
No, come along now. You must have at least one question, and this is the place to ask it.
Well, the universe, the heavens, life. There must be a purpose to it all. But what is it? What's it all about?
Well, I was thinking of something a little more prosaic, like where are the toilets? Since you do ask such a very good question, and since you're looking so exceedingly unkempt and scruffy, take your tie, boy, and come out here. We'll talk about it. Well, come along, chop chop. Now this, Dennis, is the planet Earth. The jewel of creation. This is what it's all about.
Well, it's very pretty, but why is it so special?
Ah, well, do you believe in humans, Dennis?
Well, sort of, I suppose. I never really thought about it. Do you, sir?
I most certainly do. And what's more, so does our Creator. He believed in them so much that he nurtured and protected them, he encouraged them, and he looked after them, he disciplined them, he walked with them, and he even died for them.
But why?
I could tell you that, Dennis, but I am the teacher and you are the pupil. Think how much more satisfying it will be if you find out by your own efforts.
I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, let me see. You need to know about the relationship that was forged between the Creator and his creation. And you need to get to some understanding of how that relationship was tried and tested over the generations. So, you need to examine the agreements and covenants that have been formed and see how they affected individuals and entire nations. And then you'd want to go and study the case histories of individual prominent figures and look at the major historical events in key nations. And then you want to have a look at the relationship and see if it had been damaged or not, and if it had, find out what had been done to mend it. Oh, and one final thing, you want to make sure that you come to a thorough understanding of how that relationship had been maintained and developed.
But I'd never be able to find all that out.
Oh, yes you will. Just go to the library and start work.
But it'll take forever.
Yeah, very probably.
It'll take ages just to find all the relevant books to read.
No doubt.
Isn't there just one book I could read?
What? cherubs today. You expect everything to be handed to you on a plate. One book indeed. You ask me what is it all about, and you expect the answer to be summed up in one book.
But imagine if there was such a book. Everyone would want to read it.
I'm sure they would. Absolutely right. They'd be very foolish if they didn't.
It'd be brilliant if there was such a book where I could at least start looking for the answers.
But since there isn't, you'd better start work in the library.
I wonder how the humans manage. After all, they haven't got our library.
I'm sure the Creator has thought of that.
Perhaps he's given them my book. Oh, and sir?
Yes, Dennis.
There is one more question I'd like to ask.
Down the corridor on the left.
Thank you, sir.
And the library is further down on the right.
Thank you, sir.
What does it all mean, I ask you?
What are you whinging on about now, Adam?
Well, see, 1 minute we're in the Garden of Eden, paradise if you like, and next we're stuck out here with all these weeds. All because of one stupid bit of fruit.
Oh, don't bring that up again. I've already said I'm sorry.
I mean, there we were in a garden full of fresh produce, and you had to go and pick the one piece of forbidden vegetable matter. I mean, why didn't you pick me some passion fruit? You know I love passion fruit.
It wasn't my fault.
And another thing. What on earth made you listen to a snake? I mean, a snake, I ask you, you never listen to me.
He was very charming.
Charming? Charming? How can a snake be charming?
Well, he was so charming, as I say. And he said if we ate the fruit of that particular tree, we'd gain wisdom.
And you believed him?
Well, he was so wide-eyed and innocent.
Wide-eyed and innocent? Of course he was wide-eyed. He's a snake, he hasn't got any eyelids, has he? Tell you another thing, he won't have any legs if I get hold of him.
Violence isn't the answer.
You try telling that to the lion. That's the third sheep he's eaten today.
Well, it's not my fault.
Well, it's not mine either, is it? I was quite happy just pottering around, doing a bit of pruning and naming the animals.
Yeah, well, that's just the point, isn't it? You were never here. You still expected me to have the supper ready. If you had have done your fair share of work around the place, then perhaps none of this would have happened.
Don't go try shifting the blame on me. You know, I've been working flat out trying to find a name for that black and white striped horse.
Well, you have to use another letter.
Another letter? I've only got one left. Oh, everything's wearing down and running out.
I know what you mean. These are the third set of fig leaves this week.
I keep getting mine caught on brambles.
Ooh, doesn't that hurt?
My eyes haven't stopped watering all week. Oh, I don't know. Everything used to be so perfect. Now look, it's all in shreds.
Quite literally, I see.
What? Oh, pick me another leaf, will you?
Do it yourself, I'm not your slave.
Oh, you're so moody these days.
Leave my moods out of it.
I don't know what's got into you.
Men.
Men? Men? What do you mean men? I'm the only one.
Man, then.
Do you know what I want? What I really, really want? I just wish we could start all over again.
Well, we can't. We have to pay the price of our disobedience.
We?
Oh, all right. I've already said I'm sorry, and I know you're going to blame me for this forever.
You know, it's God who I blame. He's the one who gave us free will and intelligence.
Yeah.
He's the one who gave us the ability to muck up. So he's the one who's going to have to put it right, isn't he?
Well, how's he going to do that then?
Well, I don't know, but he'll have to do it whatever it takes, whatever it costs.
Well, there's no point whining on about it.
No, I suppose not. Oh, I'm ravenous. How about roasting another one of those unicorns?
I'm afraid we used the last one on Friday. I've got some apple pie left, though.
No, I fancy something roasted. Here, I wonder what one of those black and white striped horses tastes like. Let's go and see what...
tell me more. Today we conclude our series of special reports on the Bible. John has been in Nottingham to find out who is reading it and why. John.
Hello, thank you very much. Yes, I'm outside St Martin's Church in Nottingham here, and I'm going to try to find out a little bit more about the Bible. With me, I've got George Manfield, who's the verger here at St Martin's. George, what do you know about the Bible?
Oh, I'll tell you what I know about the Bible. I know that people never leaving them lock me up in the pews. If I had a penny for every time I had to sort out that mess, I'd be a rich man. They come in here, they pick up, they read them for a bit, and they just put them back willy-nilly. They don't seem to realise it matters which way up they go.
So do you think people have lost their reverence for the Bible?
Oh, yes. Oh, it's terrible. You'd be surprised how badly some people treat their Bibles. They read them so much they get tatty and dogged. Yeah, some people even write them and underline their favourite bits. Yeah, and worst of all, they come in here with their kids and let their kids get hold of them. Yeah, even in church. Look, you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, sometimes I have to wrestle them out the hands of toddlers.
So the Bible obviously plays a large part in your life, George.
Large part? Large part? My life revolves round the blinking things.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, George. Right, now we're going to move on and speak to the Reverend Anthony Pickles, who is the vicar here at St Martin's. Hello, Anthony. What do you think the Bible has to offer people?
Well, I think that first and foremost, it's a great source of spiritual encouragement. I know of many people who've been very cheered when reading the Bible, especially when they've been under the weather.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it's the language, really. It sort of lifts you out of everyday life and takes you to another world. You know, it's very important that people have some form of escapism, and the Bible gives you that. It's also got lots of soothing, calming stuff in it.
Isn't some of it very violent, though?
Well, yes.
Yeah, and it has been alleged, surely, that the Bible is a rather tough, uncompromising book.
Well, I try to leave out the nastier bits. Generally, I tell people to try a nice psalm before bedtime.
Thank you, Anthony. Now, lastly, we're going to talk to Anna Wilcox. Anna is a member of the congregation here at St Martin's. Good morning, Anna. Now, tell me, why do you read the Bible?
It's the most interesting book I've ever read. It's exciting, it's challenging.
Isn't it very complicated?
Well, of course I don't understand it all. I don't think anybody does. I'm still learning.
What about all those these and thous?
Well, there aren't any in my Bible. It's just in ordinary English.
Gosh, how modern. Oh, Anna, I noticed that your Bible has got some photographs in it. Now tell us the truth, Anna. Do you really read the Bible, or do you just look at the pictures?
Well, of course I like the pictures. They help me to imagine what it used to be like when Jesus was around. But of course I do read it too. I tried to imagine what it must have been like when Jesus was there.
Oh, that does sound fun. Now, what do you say to people who say that the Bible is boring?
Well, of course there are the complicated bits, but it's worth sticking at. I find that God speaks to me through the Bible.
Yes. Well, thank you. Well, there you have it, of course. The Bible means all kinds of different things to different people. But one thing is for certain, for whatever reason, the Bible remains the best-selling book of all time. Now, back to the studio.
Yes, well, as we were hearing from John just now, the Bible is a bestseller. And we're going to give you the opportunity to have your very own Bible. But you're not going to have to spend lots of money on one from the shops. No, I'm going to show you how to make one from some old cornflake packets and a jar of honey. Now, as we all know, the Bible is very boring. So I've cut some rectangles out of cereal packets that are going to be our pages. And all you have to do is glue them back to back so they're stiff and dull. And make sure none of the printed interesting bits are showing. There. Now, if you do enough of those for about 1.5 inches in thickness, that will be the main part of your Bible. Now, about 3/4 of the way through comes Christmas. And for this, you'll need an old Christmas card. Here's mine. You cut off the back part. Mine says, buy yourself something smelly, love Auntie Marjorie. But yours could say anything. And keep the front part with the picture on. This one is of the stable in Bethlehem with a bright star shining above it, and the baby Jesus lying there. Right, brush over with a little bit of honey, so it's sweet and sickly, and then pop it in a low oven until it's half baked. There. Now, while that's cooking, you've just got time to cut out the bits that don't taste very nice. You may need to ask a liberal theologian to help you with this. But make sure that you don't leave any scraps lying around, as they could be very dangerous. There. Christmas should just about be done by now. Here's one I prepared earlier. Pop it in between the boring parts. And to finish off, brush over the front cover with a little bit more honey. And then add a few pressed flowers for creation. And there you have it, your very own Bible. Sarah.
Lovely. Finally, it's time for our competition results. We asked you to send in your suggestions for a Tell Me More book for the Bible. We were inundated with your entries, but unfortunately we loved all your entries and thought your ideas were brilliant, but we could only choose 3 winners. In third place was Craig Morgan, aged 9. Craig sent us a wonderful parcel of Bible smells. A dead fish for the Sea of Galilee, some camel dung for the stable at Bethlehem, and an apple core for the Garden of Eden. Craig, we thought your smells might be a little difficult to integrate into the Bible, but we loved your idea, so the third prize of a set of Tell Me More pencils goes to you.
In second place was 12-year-old Susanna Wilmot, who came up with a bumper pack of word searches and quizzes all about the Bible to make the Bible more stimulating and to help you through that really boring sermon. So, well done, Susanna. You win our second prize of our all-new computer game, Tell Me Even More.
But our overall winner is Emily Simons, aged 11. Her winning entry is the big book of Tell Me More Helpful Hints. And here are some of them.
Be nice to animals.
Recycle old Coke can.
Use unleaded petrol.
Always have a bring and buy sale to alleviate starvation in the third world.
Give your lollipop lady an Easter egg.
Invent an ironing machine for mummy.
And amazingly, Emily came up with another 142 helpful suggestions. So congratulations, Emily. Your ideas will go into the Bible in 1 month's time.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week, but do join us next week when I'll be climbing Mount Everest with a ball of old string and a bag of dried apricots.
And I'll be showing you how to make a sandwich out of a loaf of bread and some peanut butter.
Bye!
Ah, sir,
Yes, oh yes, how are you getting on?
I found some books, sir.
Oh really? Well, tell me about them.
This one's called The Universe. Did you know that in every galaxy there are 100 billion stars? In the universe there are 100 billion galaxies. Oh, and in the galaxy of Flobodon there are 17 stars in the perfect shape of a saucepan.
Are you making this up?
No, look, there's a picture just there. Oh, and I found out about this amazing phenomenon called black holes. They suck in everything, planets, stars, even the light. There's this big black disc in space.
I don't quite see what all this
Oh, and
has
I
to
found
do
this
with...
other book called Roman Gladiators.
What?
Gladiators, yes, they used to come into an arena and kill slaves. They used to kill them with spears and axes and cut their heads off with swords. And then they got these creatures called lions who went rah! Because the evening people were Christians. I've got a picture here. Look, there's lots of blood and mess. I feel sorry for the cleaners.
I really don't think I want to see that, young man. What did I ask you to go and find out about?
The universe, the heavens. Life.
And what's all this about then?
Well, this is the universe and this is life.
Well, it really wasn't quite what I meant. Listen, young man, I think you've forgotten something. We are talking about the relationship. Find out about the relationship, boy. Forget all about gladiators, and if you see anything to do with it...
One of these days, I'm gonna take a vacation by a quiet and a peaceful shore, and I'll cool my feet in those crystal waters, and I won't have to work anymore, 'cause my burden has got so heavy till I can't stand up alone. I must lay my head down on one strong shoulder, 'cause I can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. And trouble, I have seen trouble all around my door. Go away and leave me, oh man, trouble, 'cause I don't want your trouble no more. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. And the voice that came down just like thunder, and the light all around me shone. Oh, it said, child, get up, grab hold of my hand, 'cause you can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone. Oh, you can't stand up all by yourself. You can't stand up alone. You need the touch of a mighty hand. You can't stand up alone.
From the New Testament.
I shall play Philip, an apostle, a man of God, a very holy person, typecasting, I know, but there you go.
And I shall play an Ethiopian... Hang on a minute, what does that word mean?
Eunuch, chopped with a butter knife, what?
No, they didn't. With a butter knife?
It's true, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm not playing that for a start.
You've got to. We're aiming for historical verisimilitude.
It's all right you aiming for hysterical vermilion-tude. You're not the one who's going to play historical Ethiopian Enoch.
You know.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, look, you can do it. Just think yourself into the part. You've got the range, the style, and the natural ability to make us believe in this. Just imagine, you're going out there and nobody, and you're coming back a eunuch!
Yes! Yes, I'll do it! I will, yes!
Good lad! We present the story of Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch. Our tale begins in Samaria, where Philip is visited by an angel.
Hail, Philip!
What are you doing in here?
I am an angel.
Oh, that's different then. I thought you were the window cleaner. Only his day's Thursday.
I have come with a message. Blessed are you among women. Sorry, that's an old one. This is the right one. Yeah. You are to get ready to go down the desert road from Gaza to Jerusalem.
But I've just had a bath. I don't want to get all dusty again.
But they're my instructions. Now, if you don't mind, I have to go and get on with some heavenly adulation and praise. Bye.
Bye-bye. So Philip did as he was told, and he went and stood by the roadside. And he saw coming towards him an officer of Candace, the queen of the Ethiopians. And Philip was told by the officer to go and join the Ethiopian. Excuse me?
Do you mind? I'm trying to read my book.
Hello, Ethiopian eunuch.
Do you mind? I prefer the phrase genitally challenged.
What's that book you're reading?
It's the Old Testament and I actually don't understand it.
Ah, two things, or not quite complete one, might be contributing to your lack of understanding. One, it needs to be expounded unto you.
And two?
You're holding it upside down. Look, I tell you what, why don't you pull your chariot in at that next lay-by and I'll expound.
What? You see, I'm having a problem with the passage.
Your life is really just one medical challenge after another.
No, you see, it's from, Isaiah.
Ah, Isaiah!
Oh. Isaiah.
I suppose you think that's funny.
No, not really. No. Oh, see, it's from chapter 53.
Ah, the truth, O high and mighty official, is that everyone needs the Bible explained to them. Let me hear the bit that you're on about.
Oh, right. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open.
And while the Ethiopian read the passage, Philip explained to him who the prophet was talking about. And it was as if the Bible came to life in the heart of the Ethiopian. And right there, he believed the good news about Jesus.
What should I do now then?
Well, as my old friend Peter's always telling people, simply repent and be baptized.
Wait, hey! Here's some water. Let's get baptized now.
Is that it?
What's the matter now?
It's supposed to be an oasis. It's supposed to be a centre of lush vegetation in the midst of a desert.
Hang on. Palm trees.
Then both Philip and the officer went down into the water. And when Philip had baptized the officer, the Spirit of the Lord took Philip away. The Spirit of the Lord took Philip
you very much. That was a lovely service. Oh, what you got? Hello?
But the Ethiopian never saw him again.
But we still exchange Christmas cards.
But throughout his life, he remembered his encounter with the man who had opened his eyes and explained the Bible to him. The end.
The end.
See, that wasn't painful, was it?
But he didn't heal me, though, did he?
Fancy getting your foot stuck in the bucket. Get up, I'm not doing you anymore. Recipes and wondered if I could fry and bake all those lovely dishes. Then I got to part of the cookbook that told me how to become a cook. I went straight ahead, read the instructions, and I remember being so happy. Over the next few months, I took the cookbook with me everywhere. People would stop and ask me what the book was, and then I could tell them how I had become a cook. I was just so excited. I just wanted everyone else to start cooking too. Over the next few years, though, I didn't refer to the cookbook as much. I mean, I had got pretty good at this cooking art, and I had baked most things from beef bourguignon to baked Alaska. Occasionally, though, I'd get the wrong ingredients or use the wrong whisk, and then the whole meal would be a complete disaster. But I was getting quite a good reputation at being a cook, and I just didn't feel I needed to refer to this cookbook anymore.
I got quite good at substituting the ingredients and guessing the baking times. Although I have to admit that some of the things that turned out were not so good at all. Anyway, I just didn't have the time. I mean, this book was 2/3 on the history of cooking and what they used to do in the old days. I mean, it was so boring. I asked myself, is this really me? I mean, this is now. We have food processors, microwaves, not brick ovens, you know. Anyway, I just didn't have the time. I was too busy being a cook, and I just could not be expected to read and reread my cookbook as well. Next, I tried something without reading the recipe first. I went straight ahead and whipped up a chocolate cake without even glancing at the cookbook. And do you know, it turned out okay. So, I decided to try more complicated recipes, like soufflés, duck l'orange, and you know, they were fantastic. Sometimes I had never read the recipes at all, but I had definitely heard a lecture on them at some point. And in some cases, I had never heard a lecture, but I had definitely heard a lecture at some point, and then not at all. You know though, I got quite good at guessing the ingredients and substituting the baking times. Although I have to admit that some of the end results would not have been acceptable at your local bring and buy sales. And gradually, I forgot many of the recipes, so I began to invent my own. I mean, they were fairly close to the originals, although I couldn't be absolutely sure because I'd gone and lost the cookbook somewhere. Some of my friends were not too keen on the recipes I invented, like savoury sponge cake, for instance. But what was I supposed to do? Memorise the recipes? Oh dear. Gradually, though, some of my cooking friends started to pester me to get back to reading the cookbook. So I tried to calm them down by buying a brand new copy, a big one, edged in gold. I took it along to Cookery Society meetings and made sure that everyone saw it. But I didn't open it, of course. I mean, I did read cooking-related books on stoves, dieting, grocery shopping, and some of the articles were excellent, which is a lot more than I can say about the cookbook itself. Gradually, I got rather fed up with my friends pestering me to get back to the cookbook, so I went to Cookery Society meetings less and less. When a friend asked me about this, I told her that I regularly watch cooking programmes on telly. Well, I did for a while. I don't do much cooking now. When I get really hungry, I just warm something up in the microwave. And when I get into a real spot of bother, I just whip up something like a batch of scones. But the old zeal just isn't there anymore. And when I bump into my old cooking friends, I know what they're thinking. I bet she can't remember how to boil water. Well, what would they know? Of course I know how to boil water. It's just that I can't remember why.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow.
Dashing down carry on, right up the road, marching alone. If you just call me, lean on me. When you're alone, I'll be your friend. You carry on. Lean on me. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Yes,
Sir,
yes, Dennis.
I found one, sir.
And what, boy?
The book with everything in. It tells us about how the universe was created, and how men fell from grace, and how the earth was flooded, and how those are special people, and how they're good, and how they're bad, and what happened when they're exiled, when they're returned,
Dennis.
and then they'll be sung,
Dennis.
and then they'll be mental.
Dennis, I desist.
Sorry, sir.
Now, Dennis, I gather that you found a copy of the Bible.
Yes, sir.
And you want to tell me all about it.
Yes, sir.
And just how long do you think it's going to take you to tell me everything that's in the Bible?
10 minutes, sir.
10 minutes? You can tell me all about the Bible in 10 minutes?
No, I can't tell you all about the Bible, but I can tell you what's in it.
The entire contents of the Bible?
Yes, sir.
Well, this should be very interesting. Go on then, and if you can manage it, I'll even let you off that essay I sent you.
10 minutes, sir.
Starting from now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you
The Bible!
in just 10 minutes. Genesis! In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
It took him just 6 days.
Which is pretty quick to build anything, just as the woodmen who built our church extension. The pinnacle of all creation was humankind, specifically a man called Adam.
Who was quickly joined by a woman called Eve.
So far, so good.
But Eve was tempted to eat from the tree of forbidden knowledge by a serpent.
A serious mistake on her part, which had a knock-on effect to Adam, because sin had entered the world and shattered the relationship between God and his people. Adam and Eve had 2 sons, Cain and Abel. As you can see, the human race is off to a good start. Where's your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? Things went from bad to, well, badder.
So God decided to wipe the slate clean and start again.
Noah, the planet's one good man, was told to build an ark and rescue some livestock. It rained and rained for 40 days and 40 nights.
Was that a detrimental impact on the environment?
And everything and everybody drowned, except those aboard Noah's ark. But God promised that he wouldn't destroy his creation again, and as a sign of his covenant, he gave us the...
A rainbow. Now, rushing on.
Because we're still only in Genesis, the descendants of Noah built the Tower of Babel, which was the Canary Wharf of its day. It brought about the division of nations.
Then Abraham came on the scene.
He became the father of the children of Israel. Soon came Jacob, who wrestled with angels and dreamed of a ladder up to heaven.
Abraham's sons became the leaders of the tribes of Israel.
One of them, Joseph, went on to star in a hugely successful West End musical, and strangely had an Australian accent. I close my eyes, pull back the curtain, to see for certain what I thought I knew. We don't have time.
Joseph and his brothers ended up in Egypt.
But they outstayed their welcome and eventually ended up as slaves. Which leads us on to the books of Exodus. How are we doing for time? Badly. We're going to have to speed up. Ready? Ready! Moses met God in the desert.
He was disguised as a burning bush.
God, that is, not Moses. God told Moses to go and free his people from slavery. Moses went to see Pharaoh, who laughed in his face.
Ha!
So Moses and God came up with a plan.
God visited upon the people of Egypt a series of plagues, culminating in the death of the firstborn sons.
After which Pharaoh was only too happy to see the back of Moses and the children of Israel. So off they
before they could get very far, Pharaoh changed his mind and sent his army to bring them back.
So there they were. They were trapped within a fearsome army and the Red Sea.
What could they do? Stand and fight?
Oh, run and drown.
A tricky choice. Fortunately, there was a third option.
Run and not drown?
Yes, folks, God through Moses parted the Red Sea and the children of Israel escaped.
And the Egyptian army was washed away like a stain in a Des Ultra commercial.
The Israelites wandered around the wilderness for 40 years. God gave them the 10 Commandments, and eventually they made it to the Promised Land.
All except Moses, that is, who died before reaching it.
Now, the books of Leviticus, Numbers and Deuteronomy.
Lots of laws.
And some battles.
And the book of Joshua.
Just fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Just fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down.
And on to Judges.
A book that paints pictures of his heroes, warts and all. Deborah, a gifted lady.
Barak, a man unwilling to take responsibility.
Gideon started out as a captain, became a remarkable military strategist, and tailed off as an idol worshipper.
Jephthah, a brave soldier, who didn't always speak before he opened his big mouth.
Lord, if you help me win this battle, I will sacrifice to you as a burnt offering whatever first comes through my front door.
Nice thought, Jeff, but haven't you forgotten that you live with your only daughter?
Whoop.
And of course there was good old Samson and the most expensive haircut in history.
Which brings us to the end of Judges and on to Ruth.
A book about love and loyalty against a backdrop of violence and racism.
And then on to 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, which might better be called the Book of David. Saul was Israel's first king, but David was her greatest.
In his youth, David fought the mighty Goliath. He then spent some time as an outlaw, and when King Saul died, David succeeded him.
David fought in many battles, and he had an affair with Bathsheba.
He also had a major problem with one of his sons, Absalom.
Yeah?
All in all, a fairly typical royal family saga. Now on to 1 and 2 Kings.
The golden age of Israel and the reign of King Solomon.
Solomon was very wise because he nearly chopped a baby in half.
Ah! Solomon was a great king because he built a great temple. Solomon had a great sex life. He had 350 wives and 700 concubines.
But his wives began to lead him astray, and eventually he began to worship false gods.
So that after his death, the country fell apart and was eventually invaded by the Babylonians.
The temple was destroyed and the children of Israel were taken into exile. Which leads us on to the books of 1 and 2 Chronicles, and
Ezra, Nehemiah and Esther cover the period in exile in Babylon and the return of the people to Israel.
And the rebuilding of the temple.
interestingly, Esther is the only book in the Bible not to mention God.
Ooh.
Now come the wisdom books.
Job, a story of steadfast faith in the face of great suffering.
Psalms, 150 songs, hymns and prayers covering the whole range of human emotion.
Proverbs, lots of wisdom.
Ecclesiastes, lots more wisdom.
Song of Songs, lots of sex.
Then, one of the books of the prophets, whose general theme is, turn back to the Lord, O Israel.
Isaiah and Jeremiah. Lamentations, author unknown. Oh, snap, Ezekiel.
Daniel, famed for his exploits with lions.
Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah.
Jonah swallowed by a great fish, thrown up on a beach, thrown to Nineveh.
Like Nahum, Habakkuk.
Zephaniah, Haggai.
Zechariah, Malachi.
Which brings us exhausted to the end of the Old Testament.
The New Testament.
Right!
The New Testament starts with the Gospels.
Meaning the good news.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
The books about Jesus.
Jesus was born in a stable to the Virgin Mary.
He was baptized by his cousin, John the Baptist.
He then spent 3 years teaching and healing throughout the land.
During this time, he
Turned water into wine, walked on water.
Fed over 5,000 people with just 5 loaves and 2 fish.
Raised Lazarus from the dead.
Healed the sick.
He told many stories,
He upset the Pharisees.
He upset the moneylenders.
but he never sinned.
He never turned his back on anyone.
And he never deserved to die.
A plot was hatched against him.
broke the bread and he poured the wine.
A friend
Judas.
betrayed him.
He was taken before Pilate and tried.
And though he was innocent, he was found guilty and sentenced to die.
Crucified.
On a hill outside the city. He was placed in a tomb sealed with a large rock. But on the third day, he rose from the dead.
And was seen by many people.
He told his friend Peter to feed his lamb. The Acts of the Apostles. Jesus ascends into heaven. The Holy Spirit descends like tongues of fire.
And the church is born.
Stephen is stoned, the first Christian martyr. And Saul sees a blinding light on the road to Damascus.
And he changes his name to Paul and becomes a great Christian missionary.
Paul and others write many letters of encouragement and teaching. Romans, Corinthians 1 and 2, Galatians, Ephesians,
Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians 1 and 2.
1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon and Hebrews, James,
Peter, John.
Jude. But the final book of the Bible is not a letter, but rather a vision.
The end of this world and the beginning of a new world.
Of Jesus, come in glory.
The revelation of St. John, the divine. The Bible ends thus.
He who testifies to these things says,
Yes, I am coming soon. Amen.
Come, Lord Jesus.
the grace of the Lord Jesus be with God's people. Amen.